Hello students. So in this video we are going to start new chapter, that is how things change. So this is a chapter 6 from your textbook, how things change. So we are going to study about this chapter. So you can see in the picture that there is a change going on. So from day, so night is it changed from day to night. Or in the next picture you can see seedling. So small seedling has changed into a bigger plant. So we'll study in this chapter how the changes are going on or how things change. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to study some change which can be reversed and others which cannot be reversed. So we are going to study about the change which can be reversed or others which cannot be reversed. And next thing we'll learn is solubility and saturated solutions. We are going to study about this. And next is the relation between solubility and temperature. We are going to study how the temperature it relates with the solubility of the substance. Okay, so we'll go on with the topic. So every day a lot of changes occur in our surroundings. So there are different things that is going on in our surrounding. So there are a lot of changes going on. So change means in this context we are talking about change. Change refers to the difference occurring in color, shape, size or position of things around us. So in this context we are studying about change that is going on in the color, shape, size or position of things around us. So we are going to study we are talking about the change that is going on in the color, shape, size and position of the things around us. So for example, first one is a piece of ice when kept in the open changes to water. So when a piece of ice is kept in the open, so it changes to water. So the ice melts when we keep it outside. So it changes its form. So from ice, from solid it changes to liquid form. So water changes from solid to the liquid form. So that is there is a change going on in the shape and form of the water. Next example is when you add sugar to water, it becomes sweet in taste. So when we add sugar to the water, it becomes sweet in taste. So we get sweet taste in water. So there is a change going on in the taste of water. So third example is setting of curd from milk is a change. So from milk milk convert to the curd. So setting of curd from milk is also a change. So there is a change going on in the milk. So fourth example is a moving bus changes its position with timer. So when a bus moves, so every time a bus moves, it changes its position. So we all know that. So it is also a change in the position of the bus. So fifth one is weather changes from day to night. So weather changes from day to night, or we can say from morning it becomes evening. So there is also change going on in this. Sixth example is day changes into night. So I already told you that. 7 is changes happen in our body also, such as growth of hair, nails, gain in weight and height and reproduction. So there is changes going on inside our body also. So there is growth of nail, hairs, etc. There is gain of weight. So all these changes are going on inside our body. So we are going to, in this chapter we are going to study about the different changes that is going on in us or in the surrounding. Okay, first we'll study reversible and irreversible changes. So we'll study about, first one is we'll study about reversible change. So what are the reversible changes? We'll see a change in which you can get back initial substance by reversing the action is called reversible change. So in reversible change we can get the initial substance, the substance that was at the first. So the substance that was at the first, so we can reverse the action. So we can get back the same thing that was in the beginning. So there this type of change we call it a reversible change. So with the help of activity, we will try to understand what is reversible change. So in this activity you will have to observe what is going on. So the aim of the activity is to observe the reversible change of ice to water and water back to ice. So we will see in this activity we will see that the reversible change of ice to water and water back to ice. So we will see first there is a procedure, so how we do this activity. So the first step is we take a few cubes of ice. So at first we take a few cubes of ice. In second step we place them in a glass tumbler in the open. So we place them in the glass tumbler. We place the ice in the glass tumbler in the open. And in third step what we do is we leave them for 4 to 5 minutes. We leave that ice in the tumbler for 4 to 5 minutes. And in fourth step what we do is we observe what happens after that. So you will observe that solid ice changes into water, that is in a liquid form. So we will observe that solid ice changes into water. So after 4 to 5 minutes that solid ice it changes into water, that is in a liquid form. In fifth step what we do is now we keep the water in the ice tray, or so now we keep that melted ice into converted water into a now ice tray. Again what we do is in sixth step we keep that ice tray in freezer for an hour. Now what we do, we keep that ice tray in a freezer for an hour, and now we try to observe what happens after that. So you will now observe that the same water changes back into ice cube. So we observe that that same water we had kept that into the freezer, that has changed into a ice cube. So in this activity we observe that ice converts into water, and again when we keep that water into the freezer, so again that water will converts back into the ice. So there is a reversible. So we can reverse the action, or we can reverse the form of the water, that is from ice to water and from water to ice. So with this activity we can understand the reversible change that is going on. And in the next activity, there is next activity also which help us to understand what is reversible change. So the aim of this activity is to observe the reversible change of dissolving sugar in water and then separating sugar from water. So at first what we do is we dissolve the sugar in the water, and after that what we do is again we try to separate sugar from water. So there is a procedure. First step is we take a spoonful of sugar, and in next step what we do is second step we dissolve it in a beaker containing 100 ml of water. So in the beaker we add sugar to water. So you can see in the diagram also in the beaker there is sugar being added. In third step what we do is we try to observe what happens to that sugar. So now when we observe, you will get a mixture of sugar and water. So we get a mixture of sugar and water. So we can taste that water. So we get a sweet taste. So in the fourth step what we do is now we heat the mixture. So in the diagram you can see, in the diagram also, so we heat that sugar solution. So we will heat that sugar solution. Then what we do is now again in the fifth step we observe what happens to that sugar solution. So we observe that, you will observe that slowly the water evaporates and sugar is left at the bottom. So we observe that sugar is left at the bottom and water evaporates. When water evaporates, sugar is left at the bottom. So with the help of these two activities we can understand the reversible change. So we can get back the initial substance or initial thing. Okay, so we are going to study fast change. So in the case of reversible change, there is a fast change and slow change. So there is a fast change and slow changes. So fast changes that occur within a few seconds. Example, burning of paper and dissolving salt in water are called fast changes. So there are two changes, fast changes. So fast changes means the changes that occur within a few seconds. So you can see the example, that is burning of paper. So when we observe the burning of paper, it takes very short time, and and dissolving of salt in water is also, it also take a very short time. So it is a fast change. So and next one is slow changes. So slow changes means changes that take a long time to occur, that is maybe a few minutes, hours or a month to occur, such as boiling of egg, changing of day into night, and curdling of milk and rusting of iron are termed as slow changes. So there is a slow change going on in all this example. There is a slow change going on. So there is these are all the slow changes. So it takes a lot of time. So if you observe in both these activities, so both the activities we studied that. If you observe in both these activities, you will notice that it was possible to get back the initial substance with which you started. So we could get back the initial substance. In case of first activity, we could get that ice back, and in second activity we had done that we could get back that sugar. Such changes are called reversible changes. So these type of changes are called reversible changes. Okay, now next one is irreversible change. Next one is irreversible change. A change in which you cannot get back the initial substance by reversing the action is called irreversible change. So in irreversible change, we cannot get back the initial substance. For example, you can see in the diagram that when we break the egg, so after that we cannot get back that initial egg or initial substance. So in this case, the initial substance is egg. So once it is broken, we cannot get back it. So activity. So there is also activity. So understand irreversible change. So the aim of the activity is to observe the irreversible change in balloon by first blowing air in it and then bursting it. So what we do is, in this activity we will observe irreversible change by blowing air in the balloon and bursting it. So procedure is, first one, we take a balloon and blow air into it. So we blow air into it, and next one is tie its mouth with a string tightly. So after blowing air into the balloon, we tie it with the string tightly. So in the third step, what we do is we prick it with the needle. And in the fourth step, we observe what happens. Now after pricking with the needle, we observe what happened to the balloon. So our observation will be, you will observe that the balloons burst, but we cannot get that balloon back into its original shape and size. So this will be our observation. Okay, there is another activity. So aim of that activity is to observe irreversible change in paper by first drawing an aeroplane and then cutting it. So now we draw in the paper, we draw an aeroplane and then we cut it, and now we try to observe irreversible change in that action. So procedure, first step in this activity is we take the sheet of paper, and in second step we draw an aeroplane on it. So in the second step we draw aeroplane on that paper, and in the third step what we do is we cut along its outline. So along its outline, so like in the diagram you can see, along its outline we cut the aeroplanes, and in the fourth step observe what happens. Now in the fourth step is we observe what happens to after that. Our observation will be, you will get an aeroplane, but now you cannot get back the paper of the same size. So our observation will be that we get an aeroplane, but we cannot get back the paper of the same size. Okay, so this is the irreversible change. So in this activity we observe that irreversible change is going on. So we cannot get back the initial size of the paper. Okay, so if you observe in both this activity, you will notice that it was not possible to get back the balloon back in its original shape and size, and second is it was not possible to get back the paper of same size after cutting the aeroplane. So in both the activity we could not get back its initial substance, or we cannot reverse the change that had gone to that balloon or that paper, and so such changes are called irreversible changes. So such type of changes are called irreversible changes. So there are some exercise. So you go through the video and try to answer these questions from the video.